Welcome back, viewers at home. You're still tuned in right here on INX Prime channel 345 on your decoder. Now, joining me this evening tonight, I am joined by Khadija Mahida, who is an ambassador for Palestine Cola, as well as Mr. Yusuf Rasool, who is the partner of Palestine Cola. Now, we are all in conversation about the iconic beverage that has finally arrived in South Africa. And Mahida will just share with us the unique story, as well as Mr. Rasool, on what is Palestine Cola about and the cultural significance behind Palestine Cola, from traditional ingredients to its symbolic value. Assalamu alaikum, and jazakallah so much for joining us on Prime Live.
Wa alaikum salam.
Wa alaikum salam. Thank you for having us.
Now, just to start with you, Mr. Rasool, if you can just tell us a bit on what truly inspired, the creation of Palestine Cola, and how does it really go about reflecting the culture and identity of Palestine?
So initially about 6-7 months ago, always looking at different ventures in business, and I stumbled upon Palestine Cola. And actually what brought a lot of attention was the struggle of the Palestinians. I mean, we all know about it. And this drink had a great significance behind their struggle. So when myself and Khadija, we actually looked at it, the whole venture was behind creating a soft drink that will be for the Palestinian people. So number one, the Palestine Cola will be out there showing people support of Palestine. And number two, from the creators of Palestine Cola, that they wanted to create something obviously to oppose the boycotting products that are out there, and to give the people that support Palestine another option. We are limited with the bigger brands, so this was a great venture that they went upon. And I think what caught our attention mainly was all of their profits that comes from the two co-founders. They're basically based in Sweden, that all their profits coming from Palestine Cola will go to the people of Gaza.
Amazing.
Yes.
That is quite an amazing initiative, and I think it's something that every individual who is quite pro-Palestine will go about, supporting their brand fully, because they understand where their money is going. And also it's a means of other individuals to find, some people are struggling to find organizations to be part of in terms of assisting Palestine. And I think this is such a very great a start, if I can say so. Now, Khadija, over to you. I want to now have you just help us understand, the identity of Palestine being featured on the can itself, because the design is quite amazing and it's quite striking. Can you just take us through it?
So when we look at the Palestine Cola, and what's beautiful about it is it encapsulates both the olive tree together with that of the kifaya. So the olive tree is very deep-seated and deep-rooted in that of the Palestinians worldwide. When we say it goes back down to root level of that, is something of strength, resilience. It symbolizes their unity as well. When it comes to the kifaya at the bottom, as you can see, it's much more of the smaller type of a fishnet type of netting, or a pattern, and that brings it back through to that of our Palestinian people once more. So firstly, the kifaya was firstly worn when the farmers actually worked out in the sun. And then again, it was used when it went to battle between the Arabs and that of the British in the very first wars that happened out there in the Middle Eastern region. However, it's just a similarity to that of resilience. It's that of their strength and their perseverance. As we do know it, the 7th of October made the entire world a Palestinian world. It's actually where each and every human actually stood up and said, you know what, we stand against what we should not be doing right now. And when Yusuf and I sat down with this, we looked at it and it was like, it's an idea, but how do we get going? We had these conversations from April with them in Sweden, and it was an opportunity for us to bring it back into South Africa and across Africa as well. So it's a beautiful opportunity in that of being an ambassador for them and having to promote it within South Africa, where from KRM Enterprise, the proceeds also go back through to the Palestinian people and to our South Africans that are also very much in need of support. Because we always believe charity begins once again at home.
Definitely, definitely true. And I think just to see that, you know, the whole Palestine Cola, it's giving the energy of it's more than just a drink, it's more than just cola. And Mr. Rasool, if you can just help us expand as to why is it that, just for viewers to have a more in-depth understanding of how is it that Palestine Cola is more than just a drink.
So I mean, if you can just look at the slogan that's on all the cans and on the box, that's liberty for everyone. So I mean, for us, that's come from a country that was in apartheid, you know, and our grandfathers and fathers that fought for liberation. And I mean, Nelson Mandela, we all know his slogan that Palestine will only be free when South Africa will only be free when Palestine is free. So I think, like Khadija mentioned, with the can, I mean, just holding the can, it has a statement itself. I mean, with the olive tree, as you said, the kifaya, and I mean, the olive tree is their natural growth in Palestine, and a lot of the farmers and them work off it. So, I mean, when we brought the product in, it's more of a statement than just not the drink. But what made the drink special, it tastes actually brilliant. I mean, we've had people come back to us and say, you know what, the drink's awesome. It's not a low product, and I mean, obviously coming from Sweden, where the three brothers that have founded the Suffered Foods, and even if you look at Suffered, the name, I mean, something that we even found out was the founders' grandparents was a area in Palestine that they came from, and from where liberation even started. So everything about Palestine Cola is about liberation and freedom, and not only for a certain culture or religion, it's for everybody. I mean, like we know in South Africa, yeah, I mean, we're the Rainbow Nation, you know, I mean, we've always been the Rainbow Nation, whether you're white or black, Muslim, Christian, whatever it is, liberation is for everybody. And that's something that has caught our attention, and more than that is empower, because it's people that's buying the product. So, you know, a lot of brands that we look at don't give much back to the people, and your buying power is your people. So this is something that we looked at, that your product is bought by the people, so it's time we give back to the people, because your product is the people.
Definitely.
So that's what has really come onto our work.
Definitely. I mean, when we initially all started to boycott these brands that are so affiliated with Israel, at the moment when we were all like stepping away, we didn't really see the results until we saw, you know, in the likes of the JSEs and the conversations around exchange, and they're like, you know, actually it's losing its value in that sense. Yes. But now, Khadija, just coming to see what's currently taking place in Palestine, and, you know, the continued genocide that it's carried around or against the people of Palestine, and currently there are pictures and videos circulating on you know, the parallels being driven on how, you know, where the Palestinian peoples are. They are actually driven to the border of northern Khan Yunis, which is quite devastating, because we know that they left their homes, they left what they knew once as a place of safety, to now moving into, you know, uncertainty in that aspect. For you as the ambassador, how do you hope to continue driving efforts just of creating awareness around what's happening in Palestine, both just as an individual, as an entity, as well as just using this quite significant product?
I think when it comes to that of driving awareness, a lot of us speak to it when it comes to our social media. Many a times, a lot of my social media, professional social media, actually got blocked off because of my stance on Palestine and because of my views on Palestine. And it's not just a stance and a view, it's about standing up for what is right. It's standing up against oppression. And it's about the liberation of our people. And when I mean our people, I mean that of all of mankind, because Palestine is not only just made up of Muslims. It's made up of Muslims, it's made up of Christians and Jews as well. And in the time of the Prophet, they all could live in harmony. How is it that in today's times, they all are being driven out? So for me, on a personal level, it brings it back down to where it hits home, it hits my heart really bad. Yusuf knows how passionate I am about it. And at the end of the day, when it comes to that of my company, which I founded, which I've handed over to my kids, and to that of my children, they deeply understand now what we face and what we're seeing, because the entire Gen Z is the generation that's actually carrying Palestine right now. they're actually moving us to a level where our network and our socials have actually changed. I mean, they're the ones that actually walk around the stores and like would scan a barcode and actually tell me, no, you cannot buy that or you can buy this.
Oh, wow.
So it goes to show how much we can live without, and the simplicity in our lifestyles to actually support that of our Palestinian brothers and sisters, moms and dads, children. And it doesn't just bring it back down to them, it brings it back to that of Yemen. We bring it back down to our surrounding countries. We're going through it in Lebanon right now. I mean, it's massive. It's on a wide scale where we're seeing that of WHO, we're seeing UNICEF, we're seeing all these big bodies where South Africa actually went through to court to actually stand up for its people. And yet we're having one government to veto against everyone else and to control it, that we don't give up. We don't give up. And I mean, dua is a weapon of a believer. And at the end of the day, duas change our destiny. And it's very important that we never give up and we always look at it in a stance of, they've been going through the struggle for over 78 years right now. So what we feel a day without water or a day without electricity has already been 365 days in Palestine, in Gaza. And it's, for me, it's very important when we look at that entire Mediterranean coastline, everything there belongs to them. And yet we are, the greed for this world has become to a level where we don't care about the next human. And it's about caring about the next one. It's about empowering the next one. It's about our social responsibility. And for me, the big thing is when we were bringing this in, it was all about that. How do we best space ourselves, not just for this of this world, but how do we space ourselves for that of the year after as well? And how is it best that we can contribute in a worldwide and goodwill towards the, not just the economy, but to getting every individual to understand what Palestine is all about, and getting us as South Africans to also become a conscious buyer. So that for me is very important when it comes to the liberation of Palestine drinks in South Africa. Be a conscious buyer and know what you're supporting, and know at the end of the day that when you are buying something, it's something that actually is a benefit to that of mankind.
Oh, definitely, that is quite exceptional. And just in closing, I want to know, where can individuals, purchase Palestine Cola, and are there any plans of expansion?
So currently we have a lot of social media. We've got a website. I can get Khadija to just forward all the handles for the social media and the website. Currently myself and Khadija are handling distribution. There are distributors that we have contacted, and the exciting thing about, I think, Palestine drinks is there are more flavors coming out actually. Even we're getting an energy drink inshallah by next month. There is a sugar-free option, so they are diversifying. So currently we will be doing a lot of the distribution. We've got a lot of meetings. I think we even weren't, we're surprised that how it's taken off, so we've had meetings currently. Khadija can just share our details with the viewers on how to get the drink. And we actually yesterday we had a meeting with one of the brothers, Hussein, and he actually told me and Khadija, we want everyone drinking Palestine Cola. He said, everyone from every corner, from the kids upwards, they must drink Palestine Cola. So that's going to be our distribution. We're going to be trying to distribute throughout the country. And we've got bigger plans coming up, which, we will let you know as it goes. But our object, I think one thing we always have an issue is when it comes to a boycott. And we're always saying boycott, but we don't have another option all the time. There are options that are coming now, and I always feel, as we discuss amongst friends and family, that let's create the option so when the boycotting happens, it's not difficult to boycott.
Now, unfortunately, we have run out of time, and definitely we will share on our social media on how individuals can get access to Palestine Coke. But Jazakallah so much, for coming in and plugging us with quite an incredible product that we will feel so much pride in consuming, and also, sharing with our families and friends. Jazakallah so much for joining us.
Jazakallah for having us. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam. Viewers at home, those were my guests, Mr. Yusuf, Rasool, as well as Khadija, sharing in the beautiful story as well as just understanding the brand in terms of when you are buying, what exactly are you buying and where exactly is your money going.